this right. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. All right, it is your friendly neighborhood tarot reader, Amber. Okay, so normally I do the energy for the month or for the weeks coming up, but today I wanted to do something a little different. I'm going to show you guys the major arcana. So basically, the cards that are like with the big numbers on them, I guess you can say. And I'm gonna tell you like what they are, the numbers associated with them, and then some of the meanings. Now, be advised that the meanings that I do give are mostly personal ones. So this is what I associate with the cards. Some of it is kind of general, but yeah, uh, bring certain cards have different meanings for for certain people. Especially when you read intuitively, and that's how I do it. I work intuitively. Um, so yeah, the deck that I use two decks. So I'm just gonna work on the. I'm gonna show it from one today. This deck is the EFI deck. Well, it's EFI inspired. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna use it from this one. So I guess you should go ahead and well yeah. So after you get done watching this, let me know what you think about it. Let me know you want more like this. Let me know anything else that you like for me to explain, break down, talk about. So yeah, this is just one thing in the line of more stuff that I got coming out. Like I'm gonna do more videos about some numerology, angel numbers, color magic, crystals, pyramids, altars, all kinds of good stuff like that. So let's go ahead and into it. Okay. So like I said, this is the major arcana. All right. So the first one is the Fool card. And the Fool card is like number 0 because it is straight potential, right? So with the Fool, it's pure potential, right? It's just what could happen, what can happen. It's new beginnings. It's like I love to explain, this card is saying that whenever this card comes up, it gives me this meaning of looking over a cliff, right? Or being in this fog and you're standing on a cliff. You don't know what is in front of you. You don't know if the cliff is like 2 feet or 200 feet, right? You don't know if you walk forward, you'll fall off the cliff, or you just have more land in front of you. So that's kind of what the energy of the Fool card gives. It is some like a signature of new beginnings, new starts, potential, and going into a new phase of life, unhindered, right? And in a state where you're not really worrying about what comes next. You're kind of like, okay, whatever happens, happens. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. So yeah, so that's cool. I mean, and you can kind of see from this deck itself, he's kind of like starting off on this race, and it's kind of desert. It's like a desert space. There's cracks, so you don't know really what's going on. Like he could be seconds away from falling through the earth, or maybe he's just running through. Like he's starting a journey. We don't know what exactly is going on, right? And that's the thing. You don't know what will happen. It's just straight potential. Right? So then you get to the card that actually that has marked 1, right? So, and this is the magician, all right? So the difference between this deck and other decks is that he's kind of pictured as a priest in this one, and not so much as a actual person that you would consider like a mage or a magician, as in like other decks, right? So this one with this deck, it kind of gives me a slightly different meaning. When I think about it, but still kind of the same associated, but slightly different because where he's pictured here is he's like, he's divining things and he's talking to spirits, the source. He got the hand coming down, and so it's like the connection to his head. So he's getting information from above. So With the magician, that the meanings that I normally get from that card is that you're making things happen. With the magician, you're already connected to the source, right? So turning nothing into something, right? You're making things happen. You're actively taking action. That's really what the magician is. And the magician is often associated with the Aries, at least for me. So if I like get a procession of a person and a magician comes up, so then it's like, okay, this person is most likely an Aries or a fire sign, someone who's a self starter, someone who's very good at manifesting, because that's what the magician does. They make magic. They make things happen, right? They have the source. They have a connection to source. So that's the magician. Okay. Um, Next up is one of my favorite cards, and that is the High Priestess. So that is associated with the second, with the number two. She's the number two card of the Arcana, and so the High Priestess card, to me, meaning for me, she's someone who is keeper of the occult, right? So she keeps um secret knowledge. She knows things. Now, whether she's going to tell you or not depends on how she's feeling, right? So whenever this card comes up, it tells you that you need to trust, their intuition needs to be trusted, right? Listen to your intuition, listen to your gut, right? Is you're right. Your gut is telling you something, right? Listen to your intuition. Can't talk. Trust your intuition, right? So that's normally what I get from that card. Some situations, it may be that there's some secrecy going on, some things being going on behind the scenes, and so, yeah, because, you know, they don't be talking, don't say nothing really. But oftentimes this does mean trust your gut. Or sometimes you may be, if a person's asking about their spirituality on their journey, it can often mean that, they're getting connected more. They're listening a lot more to it. They're a lot more intuitive. That's normally what I get from that. Okay, so my other favorite card, the ladies are back to back. It's the Empress. All right, and the Empress is number 3 on here. So the Empress card, the first thing that I associate with this card is fertility, pregnancy, um, because I don't know why, it just does. So for me, immediately is pregnancy is the first thing that comes up. Second thing is expansion. So doing more promotions, acquiring more territory, acquiring more resources, more materials, right? Um, and oftentimes this can be stepping into your full femininity, right? Ascending into your highest feminine station. I don't know how you want to say that. Fulfilling that energy, basically, right? This is the high, not that This the Empress is often like the divine feminine. There you go. It's the divine feminine. She is the ultimate creative force, right? Whereas what's going on next is the emperor is kind of like the counterparts of her, but she's a lot more creative. She's a lot more flow. She makes things happen. So yeah, fertility. So pregnancy slash fertility, expansion, uh, divine feminine, achievement. I guess achieving your divine feminine. Yeah, stepping into that, stepping into your power, fully presenting, being in your bossness. Yeah, we're gonna put it like that. So that's what I associate with this card, right? Right. So, okay. Now we have the Emperor. Okay, he is number 4 in the deck. So the Emperor to me often is just like the Empress has the ultimate feminine energy, the Emperor has the ultimate male energy. All right, it's the the I don't want to say penultimate. That feels like a word. I don't know if it actually is one, but the emperor is like it's the divine masculine, right? It's when you're at your most logical, straight shooter, protector, like that kind of energy. Once again, this also I also associate with this with expansion. I associate this with being a supervisor, because to me, the emperor is not someone who's actually on the battlefield. They're not out in the field. The emperor has advisors and generals to get things done, right? So they're the ones giving out commands and giving orders, and yeah, they may come see you, come see about it, and check on it, but they're not the ones on the ground really doing having to do the grunt work. So that's the emperor. So then you have the Hierophant. I mean, you can kind of see that little 5. So this is the 5th card of the 5th number of the major arcana. In other decks, he will be dressed differently. He'll be depicted differently. But on here, it kind of makes sense because a lot of times, what I found is that Hierophants are like this real father figure. I kind of associate them with the King of Pentacles in the minor, Arcana. But anyway, core cards. But yeah, so the Hierophant often denotes commitment, authority, achieving the highest position. And yes, I know, the emperor is up there, but like to me, the emperor is not the emperor. The Hierophant is like the ultimate like authority, right? So oftentimes this could be someone working in international careers or something. It's like high positions, high ranking positions in companies, working for the government, dealing with the government. Decisions coming from that place, right? So that's really what it is. And if it comes out in a love thread that tells you that this person that is supposed to be depicted, that's being described by this card, is that person's person. This is their future. This is the one that they're going to be married to and a union with. This is the person with the best energy for them, right? So that's how I address that. And sometimes when it comes to me and the person themselves, it is a higher evolving of them. This is like your higher self is like one accord, like, hey, we got this, we're doing this. Okay, cool. So this is just like big boss stuff, big boss hall, hefe stuff, Now we have the Lover's card, and that is number 6. The 6th card. I do associate this card with Sagittarius. And yes, that is completely because of the bow. Yeah. But yeah, so, and then you're like, what? If it's the Lover's card, why is it just one person? I don't know. Ask the artist, okay? But for me, the Lover's card often denotes a head or heart decision. There's a split between 2 pathways to go. You're always being called to make a decision. You have to make, before you make it though, you need to be rational about it. You also need to do all your research before you make it, because it's going to be a life-changing decision, right? So oftentimes it's like, if it's like in a love situation, it's kind of like, oh, who you got? You got 2 people that you can go with. Who you gonna go with? Sometimes, depending on what else is around it, it could be news of a couple, right? Like, oh, this is your soulmate, this is your person, right? Because the lovers courting, So that's kind of what I get from that. But most of the time, it's a decision that needs to be made. It's like you have 2 options presented in front of you, and you need to make a choice for it. And then, like, of course, the Sagittarius thing, because the Archer. So yeah. And then we have the Chariot card. It's number 7 in the deck. And then you're like, wait a minute, that's just 2 people. Why this ain't the Lovers? Because it has 2 people. Nah, okay, look. In other decks, you see the Chariot card literally having either a chariot on there or like a car. But they decided to have the twins. I don't know. But that card, the Chariot card to me, denotes travel, forward movement, trips, moving on, obviously, because the Charioting, there's always going forward. It's just going forward. That's what this card really gives me. Um, and for some reason, I know why it does. I also associate this card with Gemini's. And the reason why I associate it with Gemini's is because the twins. So, yeah, there's that. So yeah, when that card comes up, it often means moving forward, changes, going on to the next thing. Giving the green light is this is normally a yes card. This and depending on the situation, this could sometimes mean to move on from something, meaning to go ahead and leave a relationship, leave that job, to move on, to go on. Okay, basically you don't need to be stuck. All right, so now, I'm not gonna lie to you because this next card is often interchangeable with what is the strength card. Okay, so the strength and the what is it? Is it judgment? It's not judgment. It's not judgment. Hold on. Yeah, this card and the other one, it gives me like it trips me out because in some decks, strength is the 11th card, and um, wow, it's gonna come to me. Apparently, it's gonna come to me when I get there. So, right, so yeah, this card and the number 11. So it could either be number 8 in a deck or number 11. Sorry, let me get this to get the. Okay, so yeah, the strength card is often tells you to stand your ground, right? Well, for me, it means to stand your ground, keep doing what you're doing. A lot of times you'll see it depicted as someone holding a lion, a lady taming a lion, or someone being depicted as strong, right? So that's what you need. So basically, it just means to stand your ground, um, stand in your decision, stick out what you got going. So that's yeah. So that's what it's just like you gotta stick to your guns. All right. Sometimes it may mean that you have to, be stubborn. Sometimes it means that you have to um wow, this is going withstand the storm. Yeah, there we go. Because life hits you sometimes, and sometimes you gotta be strong. Sometimes you have to be resilient and not move, right? And so that's what the strength means. And I know that's really, I think that's a universal meaning to that. But yes, that's one. This is a card that has universal meaning, really. And I'm pretty sure that that's not really much that can be taken from that one, right? So then you have the ninth card, and this is the Hermit. Okay. Um, what I love about this one in particular is that this man is in the hut. Okay, he is a hut pretty much. Okay, I only actually I think he is like one. He is pictured as a Orisha, I believe. Okay, look, don't judge me. I'm still learning, but so you see, he is like secluded. My boy is in there. Okay, he is one with the thatched straw. Nobody can see him. All right, but the Hermit card is obviously what this is all right. So they like to. This card means that you need to isolate, right? You need to reflect, go within. Sometimes you need to withdraw from the crowd. Sometimes you don't need to be out and about. Sometimes you need to just be still and reflect, right? So that's really what that is. Sometimes it means that people are not willing to be, they don't, this is not a time to make a move on something, you know. And then of course on the conversely, it when it's reversed, that means that it's time to come out of that phase of your life, right? You need to come out of that. You've done your reflecting. Now it's time for you to move. Now it's time for you to make the decision. It's time for you to take action. It's time for you to go out, to get out and enjoy life. That's what happens. Okay. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of fun now that I think about it. That the next thing after the Hermit is the Willow Fortune, right? Which is the 10, X. Also, something that's kind of cool about the card is that this one, it has the wheel with the beads, right? The shells, and the front and the back match. Okay, geeked out moment. It's kind of childish, I know, but I enjoyed that. But yeah, so the Wheel of Fortune is like a change of luck, right? So when it's upright, that means that there is a change. You're having a new phase, right? Things are turning into your favor. Um, Whereas you were stuck in a place before, you're feeling a little down, you're feeling like things aren't really working out your way. It seems like things are just not going the way you want to go. This card means that these things are changing. I guess it's pretty straightforward, like some of the other ones, but that's really what it is. Just like it's just a turn of luck for you, right? This is, and oftentimes it can be a yes. It's a yes card. Actually, it is a yes card. So you have an yes or no question. It's a yes. It's a strong yes, actually. Right? So yeah. Um. So next card is the Justice card. Now, this and the strength are often interchangeable. And they like to confuse me sometimes. Now, don't judge me because they pretty much look the same. Okay. And they often are associated with each other and they're in different decks, kind of switch them up. So, all right. And I guess to me, they kind of mean the same thing, honestly, in a little while. Because the Justice is someone who, well, the Justice card, obviously is things, it's karma, pretty much. The Justice card is karma, okay? Justice card is making things happen, right? So sometimes you are karma. Sometimes you got to bring justice. This is decisions have been made, or you need to make a final decision and make it and follow through because it's justice. Things need to be done. Actions are taken. Consequences are being dealt. Sometimes you are somebody's karma. So this is what I get from this card. Whew, told y'all gonna come to me when I got there. All right. Okay, so this is another one of my favorite. I have a lot of favorite cards in this deck. Don't judge me. I just really do. So this is the Hangman. It is the 12th one in the deck. So I love the deck. I love this card in this deck particularly because to me it feels like there's Easter eggs in the cards, right? So the meaning of the card itself is that you may feel stuck, but you're not actually stuck. You're in the situation because you need to learn a lesson. Look around and see why you're there, right? You need to figure out why am I still in this situation, why I'm still here. Is how you fully learn the skill. What is it that you need to take from this situation while you're here? What is it that you need to learn? What is it that you can put away in your arsenal for, the thing? And sometimes you don't even need to learn the lesson no more. Sometimes you're there because it's just not time for you to get to the next place because energetically it's not, the timing is not right. So they got to keep you in that place for just a little longer until things line up energetically. That's pretty much what this is, And I like to associate this card. I like to tell the story of the Norse, the Norse myth of Odin, Norse god Odin, right? So there is a story that Odin sacrificed himself, right? So he hung himself upside down from a tree for, I believe it was like 7 days, I think. And he didn't eat, he didn't drink, All he did was he sacrificed himself. So he hung there, and he pretty much, I think he sliced or something. Anyway, dude was almost dead. Okay. And he hung himself there for 7 days without eating, drinking, all that good stuff, simply so that he can learn the secrets of the universe. You know, he wanted to learn the secrets of the wise giant. Yeah, Daisy. It's an interesting story. Okay, don't judge me, but you get the gist. Okay, dude wanted to get knowledge. He wanted to gain the secrets. He wanted to know it all. Right. So, likewise, with the hangman here, you're often in a situation because there's something that you need to know. There's something that you need to find out, that you need to figure out, that you need to go through, right? So, yeah, that's what that comes up to. So, normally, a lot of times when I see this card, people think that they're stuck. Now, on to the Easter egg that I love in this card, right? All right. So, I know you're like, well, where's the tree? And why that person not hanging? I believe in this one's like you're in the forest and you just can't really get out of the forest, so you kind of feel a little stuck. So that's why I say the hangman. All right, but the person is holding this, like, I guess it's kind of like not really a sword. It's kind of like the little, I don't know what you call it, but it's a little thingy, and it's like the bird. It's like spikes around the thing, attached to this pole. And there's a longer pole to the middle, right? And there's a bird sitting on there. So it kind of looks like the bird is trapped, but he's not really, right? So the bird could really go if they wanted to, but you see these sharp things around you, so it's kind of hard, right? So rock with me, just go with me, okay? So the eight now, in the minor arcana, right? The Eight of Swords is depicted with this very thing, with this very same scepter. I don't know what you would call it, but the Eight of Swords is literally this. It's literally like stuck in the sand. You have to think it's around. You have to think it's around the bird, and the bird is attached to that thing. So the Eight of Swords to me means that you're often in your mind. You're trapped by your mind. You think the situation has no way out when it actually does, right? You're only stuck because you think you're stuck, and that's what this is kind of. It's like a little Easter egg here because it's like you feel like that, but you don't understand what's really going on. So the majority of the time, once you get the lesson, once you figure out why you're in this space, then you're freed. And it's like, oh, I just need to learn this. It's kind of like redoing a level, in a video game. You're just trying to get everything. You're trying to get all the seeds, all the coins, all of this. You just can't get past this big, the final boss or whatever, right? And oh, no problem, girl, look. And I love it. A lot of people don't, a lot of people need to hear that. I need to hear that too. But no problem. I love to see it. I'm glad it helped out. But yeah, so it's kind of like you're in the game, you're trying to beat the final boss, but you just keep failing and failing. And then finally, you kind of try something little. You done tried, found a little way. You worked your little routine out to where you finally beat them, and now you got something next level. That is what that card means to me, right? So, on to my other favorite card. And I really love this card because a lot of people hate this card, right? A lot of people associate fear. And this is the death card, okay? I love it because a lot of people associate it with fear and physical death. Very rarely, like I say, 0.0001% of the time, that this actually means physical death. It has to be a very specific combination for it to mean actual death. Okay. Simply, death is just a transition. Okay, it's the ending of something, and consequently, the beginning of something else. That's simply all it is. You're transitioning. You're leaving your old situation, going to a new one. You're becoming another person. You're graduating from something, and that's really what it is. And I love it because that's what it is. Like it's the shedding of it. So you are scared when they get this card, you know, mainly because of Beyonce, because of the Carmen movie, the really bad one that they had like in the early 2000s, because she got the death card and she ended up dying. I'm just like, yo, it's not like that. That's not how that goes at all. Okay, the death card simply means that you're leaving a situation. There's, death is rarely a permanent, scary thing. Well, it is a little scary. It's kind of hard to. It is scary to do something else to start another phase. But so the death does not mean you dying. So now you have the Temperance card. Okay, so I also associate this card with Sagittarius. Um, so yeah, so obviously the card is name like its namesake, right? Whenever this card pops up, it means that you need to practice temperance. You need to like not move so extremely. Like of course be cautious. Everything in moderation. So I would say, just to give an example, if this so now this wait, this for what? For what? You got to explain that. What do you mean by that? So because if you need to ask for like a reading, then I do have a Facebook page, and you can book me through there. If not, can you explain on that for me? All right. But yeah, so this just means that you need everything in moderation. For an example, if this card comes up with the Devil card, right? And how funny because that comes next, right? But so this card is right next to the Devil card. It also tells you that the person needs to watch consumption of like alcohol or potential addictions, right? It can mean that they need to chill on certain materialist things. They need to work. They need to watch the need for materialism. They may end up being maybe getting a little too physical. Okay. There's a better way of saying that, but anyway, the point is you gotta practice moderation when this card comes up. Okay. It could also mean there is a need to remain level-headed, right? So good old temperance. Mm. Mm. Oh, water. Mm. It's just so great. Drink of the gods. So on to my other good favorite because everybody hates it, the Devil card. So a lot of times when people see the Devil card, they expect it to be evil, bad, toxic, all that. I see this card as there is a need to work on shadow. You need to work on your shadow. You need to do shadow work, right? Excuse me. There is a need to watch for addictions, right? I like to say I associate this card with addictions and attachments, right? So if it comes up in a love reading, I'll tell this person, hey, be careful that you're not getting too attached to this person, or be careful that they're not getting too attached to you, right? Because love is great, admiration is cool, but when it turns into obsession, not so fun, right? So yeah. Also, there sometimes it doesn't know that there's a lot of passion, right? And in the bedroom, right? So it's a great time in the bedroom because it's a lot of physical stuff there. It's like very physical. I also associate this card with Capricorns. Yeah, associate that. Take that how you will. So the next card is the Tower card, right? And so this one is kind of seen as a tree. In my other deck, it is in other decks there's like a tower that's crumbling. Um, in my hoodoo deck, it's seen as a big house. On meditations, but for me, the Tower card often denotes that. For me, the Tower card means that universe is taking something out of your way, out of your life. Um, and that means that things have ended or will end abruptly and really dramatically. Either it will be either abrupt and or dramatic, right? And I like to tell people that before you get to this card, right? Before you get to this place, universe is going to give you warnings and signs and let you know that you need to make some moves and some changes, right? Universe gives you a little nudge before when it's like when first once you start moving and when you really want to move, it's time for you to go to another place. It's time for you to get out of here to make some arrangements, right? Excuse me. Got allergies draining. I'm just glad I can finally breathe. But yeah, so universe will give you a little nudge. It's going to give you that feeling that you're not really happy there. It's going to give you signs that you need to move on. Thank you. I'm glad I do. Look, I lived somewhat. And I learned. I learned how to listen. I know how to listen. And I'm very intuitive. And it's happening in my life. But yeah, so universe gives you that nudge. It gives you that feeling that you're like, okay, I don't like it here. Okay, I need to make some moves, right? So then you start to get that inkling. And if you don't pick up on it, universe is going to give you some more signs. It's going to tell you, hey, it's going to start making it uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, right? So all of a sudden you're going to start catching attitudes when you normally are not, or you normally are nice somewhere. You're going to start taking offense to things when normally you're more understanding. People may be a lot more standoffish to you, right? Sometimes things that normally go smoothly won't. So now universe is like giving you physical signs, like, hey, this is your second warning. Like, start making some movements. Things are going to go down. You need to get out, jump ship, right? If you don't pay attention after that, universe is like, okay, so you're not listening. So, and you're not going to move. So I'm going to do it. You're not going to remove yourself. So I will. And when universe does it, it's not fun. And that's when you get the tower. Because things just fall apart. All right. And universe is going to make it so that you cannot go back. Like, universe will make it so that there is no reason whatsoever for you to go back there, that you cannot go back there. And that's why it's the tower. Because the tower, it crumbles. The only thing left there is the foundation. Now, what you do with that, if you choose to go back and build something up, something bigger and better, great. But universe is going to make that, it's going to make sure that you move, that you're no longer in that situation. If it has to do with love, that means that person that you've been holding on to, that the cord holds on to, is going to decide to leave. They may be taken out of the situation forcefully. They may get sick. I've heard that person who's holding on to that relationship may be sick. If it has to do with their job, they either will get fired or their health will be so compromised the fact that they cannot work. Literally, right? It'll get so bad that they have to go, that they will not be able to step foot in that place. It's not fun. When universe has to step in, it is not fun, right? So, and what I love about, as you can see, I like the deck because it kind of gives you situations, and then after there's a dramatic thing or a dramatic change, there's often a card in a phase that follows that to kind of like ease things out, to give you a little respite, right? So the next card is the star card, right? And you know, the kind of universal meaning of a star card is that there's healing, right? And that a wish has been fulfilled or is being fulfilled, right? Um, and I pretty much get that. Now, my well, there's hope for the future, basically. So there has started to kind of be a third meaning associated with it for me because the other deck that I have, the hoodoo deck, it is the star card is called the grandchildren, right? And sometimes when that comes out, it kind of tells you, oh, somebody's gonna have a grandkid, right? So there's a childish energy around. There is a young energy around. So either someone's going to have a baby, or there is this new hopeful thing. So there's a new phase coming up. There is some new opportunities coming around. So that kind of is in there too. So those are the meanings I get for the star card. Kind of like a bomb. It's kind of like I mentioned. It's like, to me, especially if they come right after each other, if the star card comes right after the tower, it's to me like universe saying, oh, I know I forced you to move. I know I hurt you. I know I made you uncomfortable, but here you go. I'm going to give you a little break now. I'm going to give you a chance to rest and recover and recoup. So, yeah, it's like universe giving you tough love and then giving you ice cream to recover. So, after that card, we have the moon card, right? And I love this one. It's just a pretty card, right? But so the moon card for me, it often denotes the main thing is that there is something hidden, right? Because who knows what's on the dark side of the moon? Unless we play Pink Floyd. But would you believe I never listened to that album before? I should go listen to it, but yeah, don't judge me. But so yeah, with the moon card, it often means that there is something that is hidden. If this comes up in a love situation or career, it means that there is something someone's keeping secrets. Things are going on behind the scenes that you need to know about. That the information needs to come to the light, right? So there's some shady business going on back there. Now, an alternative meaning to this could actually mean that there's going to be like a change. Who is Pink Floyd? You know what? So Pink Floyd is a rock band. They were really big in the, I believe, 70s and 80s. So they're really famous for their album called The Dark Side of the Moon. And apparently it's like a really, really like super famous album. It's like one of their greatest albums. And so a lot of people know the band based off of that. All right. I kind of feel like I'm showing my age a little bit with that. Y'all not really that old. But anyway, so yes, that is what Pink Floyd is. That's who Pink Floyd is. I'm proud of myself. I'm not gonna lie. I'm proud of myself for being able to articulate that. Yay me. But yeah. So yeah. So with this other meaning though, these are things are flowing, right? There's a natural fluctuation, there's a natural movement. This one kind of reminds me that there are cycles and phases to everything and in life. So sometimes you may be going through a certain phase or a stage. And with the moon, she goes through different phases, right? So you might be right now in a new moon phase. You might be just starting something, right? Or you're kind of in the dark. You don't really know what's going on just yet. You know that you started something, you don't know where it's going to be just yet, right? You know what you have ambitions of. So then as you go throughout life, right, as you go throughout your journey on this thing, in this venture, you kind of see, you go into the waxing mode where it's like, oh, okay, like a waxing crescent or whatever. It's like, okay, it's starting to pick up steam, or I'm starting to see that I'm getting comfortable doing this, right? And then you go to your givers. So it's like, oh, I'm doing pretty good, right? And then after you get done with that, you get to past that phase, you get to, the full moon, right? And so now you're fully running things, right? You're getting the good, you're making money out of it, or you're like hitting your stride and you're doing really well in this area. So sometimes that moon, depending on what cards it is, that's what I get from that. Is that you're in a certain phase. I hope that makes sense. I probably should put on my glasses. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not though. Okay. So next we have the sun card. All right. Also. Okay. Okay, cool. So, also the moon card is often in mainstream. It's associated with a lot of cultures. It's associated with the feminine aspect, right? And so the card, and of course, it's the counterpart to the moon. I mean, to the sun. So that's where we get here, right? So the sun is often um, associated with masculine energy, right? Um, so that's why you call him Luna. You call this one Roy. I don't know. I'm starting out there. So likewise, just as the moon is often a denotes that there is something being hidden that needs to come to the light. When you have the sun card, that means that something has been uncovered. Something has come to the light, right? You've discovered something, right? Light has been shed on a situation, right? Now, with this one, it also could, the sun there also could mean that you found joy in something, that there is joy, that there's happiness here, right? There's warmth, right? So that's kind of the two main things I get from that. Um, oh, another one is kind of like a shining thing. So you're kind of being front and center and you're shining, right? You're amplifying your energy, right? You're projecting aura. You have a huge aura at that time, right? Also, I associate this card with Leo, and I associate this card with Cancer. Consequently, the moon is actually the sign of Cancer is actually ruled by the moon. That's kind of cool. And the sign of Leo is ruled by the sun. So that's kind of cool. So yeah. um. In my other deck, those roles are actually reversed. So in my Hoodoo deck, the Sun card is personified by a female personality, right? It's denotes a feminine energy, and the Moon card in the other deck is personified by a male energy. Um, so yeah. Um, Next we come to we're almost done. We're almost done. All right. So this one this card is our judgment card. Okay. It is number 20 in the Arcana. All right. So of course it's literally called the judgment. I often when I see this card, I hear "Don't judge me." As I say, when I see the card, I hear "Final Judgment." That's really what it is. Like it's like this announcer. Whenever I see this card pop up, most of the time when I see this card, it's like this announcer. And for some reason, it tends to be like either James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman saying the words "Final Judgment," and kind of like in the style of "Finish Him." Don't judge me. That's just what happened. So this card obviously means that there is a judgment. So there is a final call. Like justice, there is a decision that has been made. There is literally no going back. There has been a major change in your life, right? So you didn't have the fork in the road, you decided to make it, so now you gotta stay to it, right? And like kind of like constraint, kind of like the the justice, right? Consequences have been assigned, and you got to go through with it, right? So this often can herald the end of court cases. Um, yeah, court cases, decisions on promotions, decisions on divorces, marriages. This is like, yeah, settlements. This one is a little bit more stronger though when it comes to the settlements. Like when it comes to decisions, it's a much stronger one because this one is like real final. Like there is no real going back. This is not a the justice is more like a mind thing, and like consequences. This is more like you actually have to make a decision and you move in. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if that did, but it makes sense to me. Okay, so now we come to our final card, number 21, the World card. Okay, so the World card is the culmination of everything. So you went through this journey, you went through all these other arcanas, and now you come to the end, and it's like, oh, endings and consequently beginnings. So this is like the full moon. Things have been realized, things have occurred. You have new things. This one also associated with babies being born. I associate this with companies being a new phases of life being introduced, right? It's the closing of one chapter and the opening of another. This is like graduation, right? This is often, I associate this with graduating school. Like you graduated from high school and you finish school, now you go on to college. Now you go to trade school. Now you go on to do something else, right? You're no longer in that phase of your life. So that's what I associate this way. And a lot of times it's mostly positive and good because it's like, okay, now you're on to the next thing. You leveled up. So I was wondering how long this is actually going to take. I didn't think it would take an hour, but you know what? I'm glad I did break it into the major arcana and minor. So that was the major arcana. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Because sometimes I be talking and I have to sit and think like, oh, did that make sense? But yeah, so that's the major arcana. That was the breakdown on that one. That's what I get. Most of the time, that's what the meanings that I get. Of course, those meanings, which one I get depends on what is around it and what source tells me, right? Because I am intuitive. You have some people that go by the book, but I find that when I look up meanings, like when I first started, right? And I would look up a meaning because I get something. I'll look up something, and I will read it, and that the meaning that they would give wouldn't match what it didn't feel right sometimes. So I'm like, I don't know, that ain't really make sense, So yeah. That was major arcana. I'm going to do a video on the minor arcana. I'm going to break that up into court cards and suites, I guess you kind of say. So I'm going to do the different, like the court. So ace, king, queen, page, and knight of cups, and then run down the court of the next one, the swords, pinnacles, everything in one video. And then the next one I'm going to do, I'm gonna run through the suite. So I will do 2 through 10 for pinnacles, and then 2 through 10 through whatever, right? So I'll break it down through that, or depending on how much time it takes, I might end up doing the court cards in one video and then breaking up the suites, by individually. I don't know. I don't figure out how I'm gonna do that one, but yeah. But thank y'all for hanging out with me. I hope this was informational. I hope it helped out. Let me know how y'all think about this. How y'all feel about this? I'm not gonna lie. I am proud of myself. This is the first time. Well, I'm excited because this is the first time I had somebody kind of rock with me through the whole time. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Thanks for the interaction. I appreciate that. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you want some more. If you have any suggestions or what you'd like to see in the future, let me know. Like I said in the beginning, I do some other stuff with Nintendo, but I do plan on making some videos about color magic, crystals, some tea recipes, working with altars, rituals. Oh, thank you. Let's hear it. So yes, so all that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, share. If you like a reading, I do have a Facebook page where you can look me through it. It is called Scorpio's Well. Yes, it is that easy because it's just like my YouTube channel. So check your girl out. Thank you for rocking with me, and I'll see you in the next video. You be good out here. Y'all be good out here.